Gentrification's got to go. Hey, hey. Ho, ho. Gentrification's got to go. Hey, hey. Ho, ho. Gentrification's got to go. Hey, hey. Ho, ho. Gentrification's got to go.
What do I want?
Affordable housing.
What do I want?
Now.
Housing is a human right.
Fight.
Housing is a human right.
Fight.
Housing is a human right. Fight. Housing is a human right. Fight.
We want to make a clear message that Eric Adams, who is speaking here today, the borough president, that we asked not to speak, has chosen to speak today and not stand with the people of Brooklyn. We want to talk about, and this is important, when we talk and frame and talk about Brooklyn Museum and artists, we want to talk about all artists. We want to talk about hip-hop artists who cannot perform on the trains of New York City and are criminalized. We want to talk about graffiti artists that are given written tickets for doing their art here in New York City. That broken windows goes hand in hand. We want to talk about those of us that are Caribbean or Latino, how our parades, the Puerto Rican Day Parade or the Caribbean Day Parade is demonized and criminalized. The musicians, the artists, the dancers. Exactly. They cannot just perform at our own festivals and parades because we have over 1,000 police, that we have arrests happening, that we are demonized in our own communities doing our own art and being creative people. And that's what we're talking about. That we see gentrification going hand in hand with broken windows. We don't think it's an accident. We don't say it's a coincidence. We say preservation over development. We say affordable for who? So with this said, I'd like to start to bring up some of our speakers. I'd like to call up Alicia Boyd from Movement to Protect the People, which is also part of the leadership of BAN, to talk about whatever she wants to talk about, but importantly, a struggle that's going on about the rezoning right here in Crown Heights, Flatbush. Alicia.
Hi, people. Woo! I tell you, we're giving them hell today. That's right. Woo! Those greedy people. Well, I have a little speech. The Brooklyn Anti-Gentrification Network is protesting at the Brooklyn Museum, where over 600 of the most elite real estate owners, developers, and investors are gathering for their 6th annual Brooklyn Real Estate Summit. In recent weeks, BAN has initiating petitioning campaigns to demand that the Brooklyn Museum cancel this event, which the coalition of tenants, homeowners, block association, anti-police brutality groups consider to be a gross violation of the museum's mission to serve the diverse communities of Brooklyn. BAN has further demanded that the Brooklyn Borough President, Eric Adams, we gotta make sure we get that in there, who received the bulk of his campaign funding for his unopposed 2013 run for real estate from the real estate developers. Oh yes, they gave him money. Refused to attend the summit and instead devote his efforts to serving his constituents regarding their housing needs and the monumental shortage of affordable housing for huge numbers of Brooklynites. Every community of color in Brooklyn is under attack for gentrification, and that is being spurred by the political machinery of of New York City. Instead of protecting us from the real estate board, our local politicians are paving the way for foreign investors to come in and make money off of the poor, working class, and middle class people of New York City. That's right, every borough. Over 60% of the Brooklynites are rent burdened. And yet the only solution that continues to be on the table is to develop more luxury housing. Oh, come on, people! Come on, people! With a mere 20% of affordable, which isn't affordable to us. Right? When are we going to find that out? That is not affordable to us. Eric Adams has stated that his goal is to gentrify our communities under the pretense of creating a more diverse environment. Okay?
Diversity does not equal equity.
But the reality is that our people are being removed out of communities. They're becoming wealthier and wealthier, leaving our children of color, all at an all-time high in the shelter system. It is clear that our politicians and now even our cultural institutions are no longer representing us. It is clear it is time for a change. It is clear it is time for a revolution. Okay? What did I say? It is clear that it is time for a what? A what? A what? I can't hear you! A fucking revolution! A fucking revolution! We gotta stop this fucking madness! I tell you, we gotta stop it! We gotta shut this shit down! We gotta shut it down! Do you hear me? Otherwise, we're gonna be in the streets. Those 60,000 people are gonna be 80,000 people, and then 100,000 people, and then 150,000 people. Because they're not stopping unless we stop them. Mr. Boyd! I have the great pleasure of bringing up Shalene. And I've been saying this wrong because I think this is so important. I've been saying the South Bronx is not for sale. No. They're like, the Bronx is not for sale. And that Shalene and activists have been answering, and I'm not saying they had anything to do with it because it's beautiful that folks went up on that billboard and said, the Piano District does not exist except in your dreams. And that billboard got defaced. Who knows who did that? The point of the matter is the community is not standing for this renaming of neighborhoods, and have the great pleasure of inviting Shalene to come up and talk about the struggle in the Bronx. The Bronx is not for sale. Hello, everybody. Thank you for the welcome. So, as Imani said, I'm here from the BX. There's a group of us, people from the community and grassroots organizers, organizing under the hashtag The Bronx is not for sale and the hashtag What Piano District. Now, why is this relevant? Well, the Bronx, like Brooklyn, is going through major gentrification issues. Of course, police violence, state violence, but really, there's a real intimate connection. Y'all heard about that party in the Bronx? Yeah. Right. So for those who haven't, there was a party in the Bronx that the Chetrit Group and Somerset Partners, two asshole developers, threw in front of the Harlem Riviera, which is what they're calling it now, the waterfront in the Bronx. They threw this party over Halloween, and it was a theme party. And the theme of this party was The Bronx is Burning. How many of y'all remember that? When my mother and my family had to worry and put wet fucking towels under the door about fires in our neighborhoods, they think that shit is funny. They think that's a theme party. They're making a mockery of the people they're trying to displace. At this party was Ann Pasternak, the director of this museum. That's right. Along with our borough president, Ruben Diaz Jr. Shout out to Ruben, piece of shit. Who has received major contributions from Chetra Group and Somerset Partners to his campaign. Now this dude is putting up a proposal for Deacon affordable housing through de Blasio's plan. It's bullshit. Affordable for who is the question. It ain't affordable for us. Y'all know the BX is a very poor borough. We've been struggling and fighting, and we've been staying to make that borough what it is. And they trying to sweep us out with the trash, y'all. So we're here in solidarity with BK. I know some people from Queens might be out here too, other boroughs. This needs to be a connection, a network, all of us organizing in our respective boroughs and then jumping on together and coming out here like fighting eviction, blocking evictions, doing what needs to happen so that we can take this city back. Because this is our city. Alright? Alright! I want to call up Sister Love is part of the Brooklyn Anti-Gentrification Network. Sahai, born and raised here in New York, Bronx, and Brooklyn, and displaced to Jersey. And want to talk about what's going on with the struggles that she's working on, and particularly what it is for those of us that no longer can live in the communities that we're born and raised at. Say hi.
All right. Hello, everybody. You guys look so beautiful out here today. This is really awesome. And I really, all power to you. I'm just in total solidarity with you guys. And I do have a relationship with Brooklyn. I spent a lot of time in, actually, I lived in every borough except for Staten Island, okay? But I grew up in Brooklyn. And it really hurts me to say that my mom, after being a lifelong resident in this borough, could not rent an apartment. It took her a year to find out that she had to move to Jersey. After dealing with these brokers, their crazy fees, the housing courts, you know, the crooked landlords, and I really witnessed all of that, and it was just, I can't, if I stand out here and I tell you guys the story, I'll be out here till 6 o'clock. That's how long the story was, and it was really horrendous. So, these people in here are like scumbags, okay? That's all I can say about them, you know, because if you're going to come into a community that you don't have no connection with, you want to slice it up and carve it up and shove out the people that have been here for years. Working class people, communities of color, and then you just go on your merry way, you leave this borough, and then you go to another one. And the thing with gentrification is that it's not, at first, for a minute, when I was a little mocus, I thought it was just, it's just happening in New York. This is global. This is worldwide. This is happening all over the world. All over. And I just want to end with this kind of like anecdote. I got off the train at Nevin Street. That was the area that I grew up in. I grew up in Fort Greene. And I don't come out here that much, but it seems like every time I come out here, it's starting to look more like Midtown, like, you know, 34th Street, you know what that looks like, right? That's what it's starting to look like. Every time I turn around, I see a crane. I see a hole. And I've seen cranes in places like, I look at it and I'm like, really? Doesn't that look a little bit too small for a building? You know, but it started. It started. When you look around the Williamsburg Savings Bank, because I live right up the street from there, they got this big-ass hulk of a building in the parking lot of BAM, you know? So, I always thought the big clock was kind of cool, you know, to look at from a distance. And yeah, it is, right? But now the view is going to be like kind of obstructed because you have a tower here, a tower there, and then another one coming up. It's really ridiculous. Now, the problem is that this city, I don't know why they can't get it together. You have shelters where you house people for, picture the homeless could probably tell me, how many thousands of dollars a month they're housing people in shelters. All right? We have these luxury, 3,000, thank you, right? Now, look, that's my rent, and then some, and a mortgage. mortgage maybe, right? So they keep building these luxury houses, but they don't build no affordable housing. If you're going to pay that much to put them in the shelters, why don't you just build some developments that people could live in? You know? And also, on top of that, we talk about some jobs, have some job programs, on and on and on. This problem can be solved. But you know what? It's a systemic disease. It's a disease. It's racism, it's genocide, it's gentrification. You know, because they don't want any, no offense to the white people here, they don't want no people of color in this city at all. And they don't want no poor people in this city. This city is starting to look like Emerald City, you know? And I'm out. Okay, but that's all I have to say. You know, I'm just glad to be here, and you guys look awesome. Thank you so much.
We just alluded and talked about Picture the Homeless and want to give so much love and respect. If it wasn't for them, Picture the Homeless, doing the work, releasing a report in 2012, talking about the over 5,000 vacant, underutilized, unused property that's being hoarded in the city that could house every single person. That we shouldn't have 60,000 people a night, over 85,000 people in the shelter system. Picture the Homeless has been on the forefront. They have led the struggle. They've inspired most of us in this space right here to do the work that we do because they are fighting. And right now they have a struggle that we need to be all involved in. East Harlem, they're trying to gentrify it, and Picture the Homeless is in the forefront, stopping the violence that's happening to homeless people. I want to call it Picture the Homeless. Thank you.
Good afternoon, family. How everybody doing? Bless. All right, my name is Tahan Wright. I'm a member of Picture the Homeless. I've been volunteering with them for the last 8-9 years. You know, I've been going around and seeing all these empty buildings and empty lots. And we have all these homeless people on the streets, people in shelters, people double, triple up in apartments. There's no need for this. There's none whatsoever. All we have to do is get these politicians and all these developers to realize that, yeah, you eating good, but these people out here hungry. There's people out here that's starving. You have families in shelters that are so run down. Children are being bitten by rats and dying. This makes no sense whatsoever. We have to get together and make a change. There's people in their apartments looking out their windows saying, oh, look at them, they out here protesting. They don't know what they're doing. Yeah? Well, you're one paycheck away from being out here with us. You don't know the struggle that we've been through until you go through it. I'm a native New Yorker. I've been living here all my life, 46 years. Grew up in Harlem. I was displaced from there, pushed up to the Bronx. I lived there for a few years. Funding ran out. I had to move again. I'm taking a 5-borough tour. I'm being forced to do this. Not because I can't afford it, it's because the help is not there for a lot of us. They put us through all these changes. They have us frustrated. You try to go get help, but it's not there for us. They act like, you know, they're concerned with our needs, but we know it's all full of shit. We know it. I really can't really talk that much on you know, the issues, because I don't know everything. But I do know that when it comes to black and Latin people in this city, in this country, they don't give a fuck about us.
Thank you. And this is important. So again, and I want to thank Picture the Homeless, because again, this is real. Folks, there are lots of folks, and I'm about to call up the community farm. These folks are here, and I don't know how many banners they have and costumes they have, but the community farms, community gardens people came in full effect. They're not playing, because our green space is what is also it's disappearing. But I just want to say, and I want to thank again Picture the Homeless for all the work that they're doing, and the way that they're like talking to about community land trusts, and all the work that they have done. And want to turn the mic now to folks that are taking over, I guess this is my segue, taking over space and providing it for the community, green space, and how important the community farms are, how important the community gardens are. And there's a few of those folks, the folks are going to be brief, but please take the mic, our coalition of community gardeners and farmers. Thank you. Yeah. Yay! Long live community gardens and community farms. All we are saying is give greens a chance. All we are saying is give greens a chance. Yay! My name is Farmer Jan. I'm a community gardener and farmer operating in New York City. So I am you and you are me. All of my salary goes towards my rent. And what they want to do is to take our farm as if we have not put in enough sweat and equity. 50 years in New York City, ordinary people turning rocks, turning bricks, turning abandoned lots, what we knew was blight. We stood up and now we fight. Now what we have are the 17 community gardens on the chopping blocks that are on HPD's land. What we also have are urban farms that are on HPD's land that do healing work, that work with women, children, families, that help people to liberate themselves through understanding the story of land and food. Every person of color has to understand himself in terms of why are we here? We were brought here to do agriculture. We are farmers. We are green. We have not forgotten the land. We are all agrarian people. All agrarian people with strong, lasting ties to the land. The issue of land is systemic. It has existed from the beginning of time. Serfdom. Serfdom is what we call and what we experience as slavery in the New World. What we see with people who tend land not being at the forefront of the struggle and speaking in an educated manner about land use, who uses the land, how we use the land, how our leases are configured. Long live community gardens. We need the sun. Community gardens are the lungs of our city. In Brooklyn and Bedford-Stuyvesant alone, we have over 77 gardens. In Brooklyn, Policy Gal and those that are doing the work of mapping and counting and putting our land into inventory for the use by common people. Land is for people. Land is not necessarily for the elite. We want to see policies that are in favor of the people who work land. If you can sell my farm to a developer for $1, sell it to me for $1, damn it. I've been planting food there for long. Thank you. Long live the community gardeners and the people who toil the earth. Long live Ray and his leadership.
Blessings, blessings, peace and blessings. I'm Ray from the New York City Community Garden Coalition. I'm also from the Bronx. Bronx is in the house. Just a couple of things because I think Yanet just captured it. Just like Picture the Homeless did a study, and there's enough vacant buildings to take care of the homeless problem. There are enough vacant land. There's enough vacant land where these children of God can go do their development and they don't have to displace a single person. There's more than enough land for them to do their building. Why are they coming into our communities to displace us? So, we need to really put that out there. One of the things I just want to say, though, is that, it's not enough to complain. At the end of the day, what you going to do? So we're going to let them know this is our community, and there's only one thing that's going to happen, is that we're staying, and we're not going anywhere. That's a message, and we have to send that message loud and clear. Farmer Jan was very clear what we do in community gardens, what we're doing in community gardens. We're not just growing food, we're growing communities. That's what a community farm is about. We're so rent burdened in the city. Hello. There's so many people paying more than 50% of their income to rent that they are food insecure. We need our community gardens in order to grow our food. Housing and food go together. They're both for human rights. Save community gardens, save affordable housing, and tell them to get the fuck out of our communities.
Our libraries. So I want to bring up this guy. I love when everybody got the banners and the props. This is beautiful. We're going to bring up a demonstration about why they need to keep their hands off our libraries.
So we're all here because we know that the real estate industry is run amok, right? Yeah. All right. But maybe we didn't know that they are so amok that they are selling off our libraries. They are against the public interest. The public interest, democracy, libraries. Now we can give you chapter and verse on the excruciating details about selling libraries, but it's not just our libraries. The model of selling off libraries and shrinking the libraries and deliberately underfunding them to turn them into real estate deals, well, it's being talked about as a precedent for selling schools, too. Yes, selling schools for redevelopment. Well, when we do this, the priorities are what the developers get. So the Denell Library, the announcement was 8 years ago that they were going to sell it off. Well, last March, the luxury hotel, the luxury condominium tower, the luxury restaurants where you can sit on coyote pelts have all opened up. But what about the replacement library that was promised? Nowhere near in sight. They keep postponing the date. Summer 2016 is now what's proposed. If you listen to them, they say, oh, give the developers a free lunch and they'll give you libraries for free. Well, this isn't true. Pay attention. We're shrinking our libraries. We're underfunding our libraries. Tomorrow, there's a hearing. It's about whether Brooklyn's second largest public library, the Central Destination Library in downtown Brooklyn, the Brooklyn Heights Library, should be sold off. It's the first ever hearing on whether this makes sense. I invite you all to be there. It's the first ever City Council hearing. City Council chambers, 1 p.m.